Welcome, listeners, to the More Than Insurance podcast. Today, we're talking about how faith-driven leadership doesn't weaken business, it actually strengthens it. Today, to provide insight, we are pleased to have Dr. Dee Stokes here to explain how faith in business can benefit you, your team, and your clients. But before we get started, allow me to introduce our guest. Dr. Dee Stokes is a faith-based leader, executive coach, former Division I women's basketball coach, and consultant who helps business owners align their leadership and operations with Christian values. With more than 30 years of experience in high-performance environments, she serves as a lead pastor and overseer of Team Church and is executive coach with Kingdom Factor and the president of CEO of Dee Stokes Ministries. Through her consulting firm, she works with organizations on leadership development, cultural competence, and sustainable growth, helping leaders build businesses with purpose, integrity, and long-term impact. Dee, let's start at the beginning. Because of your journey sets the foundation for everything you do today. Walk us through your background from Division I basketball coach to where you are today.
Yeah, well, thank you, Jay, for having me on. I appreciate you very much. And yes, of course, I started as a Division I women's basketball coach and did that for 18 years. And simply, God just changed my heart and gave me a new assignment. I love coaching. I played at the Division I level. I played in high school. I played in junior high and just knew I was going to go. And I played at the Division I level on a scholarship and just knew I would coach till I was 60 and then go into being an athletic director. But God had some different plans for me. And at first, I did not accept those plans, but then happily accepted them. You know, you better be careful when you say you're not going to do something. And that's what I said I wasn't going to do. And then, of course, I'm doing it now.
Who did you play college ball for?
I played at Wake Forest and then for 2 years and transferred to UNC Charlotte, where I sat out a year and played for 2. The rules are a little different nowadays. But so I ended my career playing for Ed Baldwin, who was like a father figure to me and I'm still good friends with today. And so cherish my times at both schools and learned a lot.
Okay, because I never knew where you played. For the audience, we are both Arkansas kids born there. And, I'm a big Arkansas Razorback fan. So I didn't know that you went to Wake Forest.
I'm still a Hog fan myself, and I almost played at Arkansas. So that's a whole nother story, but yes.
It's all good. All right. So we're going to move on here. Okay, so you spent years as a high-performance athlete in academic environment. What led you to step fully into ministry and business coaching?
So first, when I stepped into ministry, it was in academics and still in coaching, which is interesting that the Lord led me to continue coaching for another year in higher ed. But it was at a Christian school. So I went from this, I hate to use the term, but from a secular environment to a Christian environment in coaching and academics. I am still in academics. I still teach online. And so I'm not giving up that piece or haven't given up that piece. But the Lord transitioned me into a Christian environment in academics in higher ed and then led me to working in the church. And so I work in the church. I'm co-vocational. So I work in the marketplace and in the church. And that's how God has used me in his kingdom to be both. I will continue to do that and have a marketplace ministry, if you will.
What led you to North Carolina? Was it because of going to school at Wake Forest or led you back to North Carolina?
Well, it's interesting that I came to school in North Carolina and then I left and then I came back and then I left. And then I left and then I came back. And so, yes, I was actually born in Memphis. So I'm going to take that out of what you said. Not born in Arkansas, but I've lived in North Carolina longer than I lived in Arkansas or any other state. So I actually consider North Carolina my home. Okay. And so I've lived here over 20 years. If you put all those times that I've gone and come back, and I love this state. It's hard for me to leave. Maybe I'll leave this state one more time, but I'm probably going to die in this state. So I love North Carolina. Shout out to all you North Carolina.
All right, we're going to keep it moving here. Okay, can you explain Dee Stokes Ministry, Kingdom Factor, and your consulting work, what you do, and who you serve? Because here's the deal. You have these different entities that you work with. So I'm leading you towards put them together so we can understand how all of it works together.
Sure. Yeah. And they do all work together. So in about 2009, I woke up and this is before I accepted my call in ministry. I woke up one morning with the words D. Stokes Ministries, a worship experience, song, prayer, devotion. I looked up at the ceiling and I said, God, that must be you because I'm not going into ministry. Famous last
Okay.
word. And so for an entire year, I was still coaching then, and I put those words on a 9.5 by 11 piece of paper, put it on my wall in front of my computer, and stared at it for 10 months. And every time I looked at it, I'd pray, God, what are you saying? I don't know what you're saying. And then he would give me a mission statement as I was driving down the road going to recruit a player. He would give me a vision as we were going somewhere else. And so I'd write all those things down. So D. Stokes Ministries really encompasses missions work. I'm an author, so I've written books through D. Stokes Ministries. We train pastors and leaders through D. Stokes Ministries. So all of those things. And then about 2019, I established a consulting firm. So part of my background, or academic work, I should say, is in the areas of cultural intelligence, emotional intelligence, transformational leadership. So I decided to start a consulting firm. Really, the Lord led me in that direction as well, to consult with business leaders, to consult with universities, to consult with athletic departments, really just about anybody in those areas that I just explained. And so that consulting has actually led into business consulting. It's actually led into mentoring and those kinds of things. And so within that, in this year, we decided to partner with Kingdom Factor, an organization that does executive coaching for business leaders, but it's Christian business leaders. And so my consulting firm actually is partnering with Kingdom Factor. They have a lot of tools and a lot of things that I can use to expand, and that's our word for this year, expansion, to expand my consulting with business leaders.
Now, where is Kingdom Factor located?
Well, everybody's everywhere. So, everything's
Mm.
virtual, but the men that started it, a couple of them are in Indiana, one of them's in Ohio. So Kingdom Factor really is everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. Now, how did you actually, and maybe you said this, find them in order to partner up with?
Yeah, interestingly enough, I believe I found them on LinkedIn. I think I got an email or something. But interestingly enough, two of the people who started it, I actually already knew. And so we really just got reconnected. They were with another organization in 2018 that I almost got connected to, but the timing was wrong. And so now the timing is right.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
We're going to move on to the next question here. You often say you cultivate champions in business and life. What does that look like in real world terms for your clients?
So I had a colleague that actually gave me this title. He came up with this for me, cultivating champions in business and in life. And so that in life, that could be ministry, that could be whatever. Business can be business, whether it's Christian entrepreneurs or whomever. And I also sometimes use the tagline to live out the gospel practically because I'm a very practical person. And I think as Christ followers, we influence people by the way we live, by how we talk, and how we treat people. And so I want to cultivate that term. Champions is a sports term. So we utilize sports terms a lot because that's my background. But I want to influence people and empower people in such a positive way that they are successful in business and in life, spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, in every way. We want to empower people and influence.
Okay, let's go here. What are practical ways leaders can integrate faith into leadership without alienating employees or clients?
One of the things I teach people often is when we walk in a room, people should know who we are as Christ followers, as faithful people. And what does that mean? That means we show the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, kindness, self-control. And people will know who we are. Most often when we say we're in marketplace ministry or we're doing ministry in the marketplace, people think you have to have a Bible study or a prayer meeting. Well, you don't have to have that stuff. If you live a certain way and you exude Jesus in your behavior, people will be drawn to you. And they'll have conversations at the watering hole or come to your desk or what have you for advice. They'll come and most often want you to pray for them or want you to say something positive to them or help me with this or help me with that simply by the way you live and walk and talk. And so you don't alienate people if you don't shove the gospel down their throat and you just
Mhm.
live the gospel, then you don't alienate your employees or your clients. And
Mhm.
you just be kind to them. I've had so many examples of that, even throughout my coaching career, where people will come to me and let's talk about life. Let's talk about this. What advice do you have? And I wasn't always living right during my coaching times, but I still knew God enough for people to know that I knew God. So that's important.
Establishing an approachable aura where you can approach and be approached. How do you actually develop that?
Well, I mean, yeah, well, anyone can develop it. It's simple spending time with the Lord, spending time in His Word, spending time in prayer. We have to be changed from the inside out before people can see that. And so, yeah, I mean, I just think it develops over time, and time well spent with the Lord produces fruit, and that's the fruit of the Spirit.
All right. You talked about emotional intelligence from the start of our conversation today. You emphasize emotional intelligence, culture intelligence, and transformational leadership. Why are these items essential for business owners today?
Yeah, if you notice in business, in life, in politics, we lack emotional intelligence in this country. I'm just going to throw it out there, not to be political or any of that, but emotional intelligence is understanding our own emotions and understanding the emotions of other people and adjusting from there. If I know what pushes your button, then I probably shouldn't do that in a conversation with you, whether it's a personal conversation, a business conversation, or whatever. I should be sensitive to your feelings and understand your feelings and mine. And I should know what pushes my button and try to adjust from there. So that's emotional intelligence. Cultural intelligence is the ability to manage in intercultural settings. Now, we are in intercultural settings all the time, and you don't have to go outside the country. Although we're from Arkansas, we grew up in different cultures. And even if we look alike, does not mean that we have the same culture. So culture is this big umbrella for a lot of things that falls underneath it. Ethnicity falls underneath it, language, music, the way we dress, things we eat, all of that is a part of our culture. How we do things is a part of our culture. And so understanding different people's culture is extremely important, especially in the browning of America. So America is going to look like us here really soon. And how do we deal with people who look like us and who don't look like us? We're not all the same. And then lastly, transformational leadership is leadership that's more personal, it's more relational, as opposed to transactional leadership, which would be more transactional, task oriented. I like to tell people, though, in leadership workshops that we need a little bit of both. Like to combine those is really the best leader because you got to get stuff done. People want to know how you care for them, people want to know that
Mhm.
you do care for them in business. And so I think being a little bit of both is really important in today's society.
And in our pre-production meeting, I posed a question to you. Are leaders born or are they created? What say you on that?
I say both. I say we are
Okay.
born and we can develop in our leadership style. One is just by understanding our leadership style, but I just think we're born leaders and we have to be confident to know that we are. And there's a misperception that leaders are only the people at the top. No, no, no. The gatekeepers, which are normally people at the bottom, have tremendous leadership ability. You can't even get to
Right.
the top person until you go through that gatekeeper. And so it's important to understand, I believe that we are all leaders in our perspective places in society, whether it's in your family, in your business, in your corporation, in your church, in your neighborhood. I remember going to my neighbors a few years ago when prices started to really skyrocket in the grocery store. And I said, y'all, we need to start planting some food and we need to share. And my neighbor across the street who calls me preacher, what do you want us to do, preacher? He said, we'll do whatever you want us to do. And I said, I don't know. I'm going to come up with something, but we need to help each other. And they were all for it. So be a leader. We are leaders. We are born and we are made.
Okay. That will take us to our next question. What are the biggest misconceptions business owners have about integrating faith in their business?
Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier that people oftentimes think you have to start a Bible study or have a prayer meeting. So that's one of the misconceptions. But I also think the other misconception is that people think if you mention your faith that people will turn the other way. And so people are often cautious in mentioning their faith in their business. And then there's other people who are not. I talked to a man the other day who's a financial advisor who is going to become a certified kingdom advisor. I didn't even know there was such a thing. So when you have that certification, you put it on your marquee, people know that you're a Christian business leader. So they can choose to do business with you or not. So he's
Right.
obviously he's not trying to scare people off, but he's trying to tell people who he is in the kingdom. And so I don't remember a time when I've asked someone if I could pray for them when they said no. Now, of course, I'm a
Right.
pastor, a bishop. I understand, but I'm talking about in a business setting. I didn't say, "Let me pray for you." And sometimes I do that when mostly the people who know me and sometimes to strangers who don't know me. But people who don't know me well, I might say, How can I be praying for you? Or how can I help you? And rarely do I get people who say no. Yeah.
All right. Now that we understand the misconceptions, let's move over to this. Burnout is a real issue for business owners. How does faith driven leadership help leaders stay grounded long term?
So, burnout is another one of those concepts that I've actually studied. And burnout happens mostly with people who are in helping professions like teachers, doctors, nurses, and pastors. All of those professions have high burnout because when we help people, we sometimes want people to be better than they want to be. Tell my players that all the time. I want you to be great. You don't even want to be great. And so when we have those desires and we really care about people, so burnout is at a very high level. Now, for business owners, I just believe your faith in Jesus gives us hope. And so I was telling somebody the other day when I was a recruiter, when I was coaching, I'd have to recruit 100 kids before I'd probably get two to say yes. So rejection is not hard for me. I don't cry over rejection, but some people do. And if you're in a business where you've got to talk to a lot of people and you've got to go through rejection a lot, that can be very difficult. And that could lead to quitting or lead to burnout as well. But our faith should produce hope because our hope is in Jesus. And so we should never give up. The more time we spend in the Word, it should increase our faith and our hope and give us more hope really for the future so that we don't become burnout.
Okay. And that leads us here to our next question. For someone who feels aligned with this message, what does working with you look like and who's the best fit?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways actually to work with me. So I do a lot of one-on-one, whether it's consulting or mentoring or coaching one-on-one. So that's one way to do it. And then I'll tell you who's a good fit for all of it. And once I tell you the different options. But then the other thing that we're building is peer groups, business leaders to be in peer groups. There's research out there that peer groups really help you, and we want to help you spiritually, we want to help you professionally and personally. So in cultivating champions in business and in life in every way. So a good fit is someone who wants to glorify God in their business, is a good fit, a decision maker who can spend time in our peer groups. They'll be virtual and they'll be once a month for 3 hours. So you have to be a decision maker who can spend time in those groups. One-on-one, somebody who just wants to do better, somebody who wants to honor God with their life and their business. And I'm open to both of those situations, whether it's one-on-one or even with a company. If you need me for something consulting wise, I'm open for those as well.
So, Dee, tell me this. How do we get started with you?
Yeah, so the best way is to contact me is to email me. Now, I know you see some stuff going on the bottom of the screen, and one of the ways to email me is info@dstokes.org. Another way to email me would be the letter D, STOKES, at kingdomfactor.us. And so you can also go to my website, www.dstokes.org, and check me out there. And then there's even another website you can go to, the letter D, Stokes, STOKES, www.kingdomfactor.us. All of those ways are how you can get in touch with me. You can also call me 336-561-0077 and just contact us, and we'll be more than happy to discuss whatever your needs are.
Okay, so listeners, we will have all the contact information inside the YouTube description. So you'll be able to go to the description and you'll be able to click on all contact information that she provided right here for us verbally. So we will have that in the description. So don't worry about trying to rewind and write it down. We'll have it in the description for you just to click and go straight to contacting her. So to wrap things up, like I mentioned, we will have Dee's information in the description. And here's a way to get in touch with Dee, and we'll do a full screen here. And so, Dee, you want to take it away? Talk to us a little bit here.
Yeah, so again, there'll be even more websites to get in touch with me on the YouTube channel, but please, you can email me at info@dstokes.org. You can go to my website, dstokes.org, and click on there and look at all the different things that we do as ministry and as consulting. So thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Oh, yeah. And thank you for joining us today. One more thing. Dee has a YouTube channel. Would you like to
Yes.
throw a plug in for your YouTube channel?
D Stokes Ministries is one of my YouTube channels. Stokes Consulting is my other YouTube channel, and Team Church is the other YouTube channel. Look it up.
All right. Do you have a YouTube schedule that you want to throw out real quick? And we can put that on the description.
Yeah, I usually put things on either Mondays or Tuesdays. So look those up. Mondays mostly, but if I get too busy on Mondays, then I'll do it on Tuesdays. Yeah.
Excellent. I'm glad that you have taken the time to share your insights with us, share what you do, share with others what you do. And guess what? We appreciate what you do. And for all our listeners out there, make sure to check everything in the description, and we'll have more to come on the More Than Insurance podcast. And again, we thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Jay.